Hello, my friends, and welcome back to part two of Jimmy Young versus Ken Norton. We cut off on this at the end of the sixth round in part one, and we are picking up in round 7 out of 15 rounds. So far in part one, I've talked about how Jimmy Young has maintained his range with his jab, how he's gotten in close when Norton throws those wide hooks, how he there's something else that I commented on in part one. How he kind of takes a step back every time Norton takes a step in. Then once he's against the ropes, he crouches down and ties up Norton, walks him back to the middle of the ring. Now, I've said a couple times that some aspects of this fight were the best or my favorite parts of this fight. Well, this is one of my favorite parts of this fight. Watch the footwork from Jimmy Young. We'll watch it in normal speed, and then we'll see what happens. Bang. Okay, let's watch this again. Now, Jimmy Young landed some great right hands in this fight, a lot of them, because Norton kept that left hand low. So let's see what happens. So he's taking a couple steps back, stepping back. He's going to walk over to the right here. See how he's almost at the ropes? Now, it takes a really experienced fighter or experienced boxer to know where they are in the ring at all times. Now, you have to know where you are in the ring without actually looking around yourself, and that just comes from years of experience of, well, I'll tell you guys how I kind of did it. I had this one guy in my gym when I was like an intermediate boxer. He told me you got to understand where you are in the ring, and the way he said it was you start in the middle, you count how many steps it takes you to hit the ropes. You count how many steps it takes you to cross from one side of the ring to the other side of the ring. And I never thought about it that way. And then after he taught me that, later on I started focusing on that, and it helped me know where I am in the ring without actually touching the ropes, or you know what I'm saying. So here we saw Jimmy Young kind of stepping back. He's stepping back. See, he gets so close to the ropes, but then he steps over to the right. Kind of hits the ropes there maybe. Steps over to the right. Let's see what Ken Norton does. Looks like he was about to cut him off. Then he walks back. Puts that stiff arm between the shoulder and the neck or the head of Ken Norton. Steps in, pushes him back, lands a beautiful right hand. Okay, guys, so know where you are at all times in the ring. Now, when you're starting off, you're not going to be able to do this because you're going to be thinking about other things. But once you start being a little bit more calm in the ring, you could start focusing on this, and it helps you a lot. You don't have to look at where your feet are. You don't have to look at the ropes. You could just count your steps or get a feeling of where you are. And we just see here, yeah, the ref is going to tell him stop using your left hand, but he's not going to stop. Keep controlling him with your left hand. Nice body shots, right hook to the body, left uppercut. There's that pull counter that a lot of, well, I did a video on this on Instagram about Floyd Mayweather. Let's see how Jimmy Young does his pull counter. Frame by frame, second by second. Let's look at his legs more importantly than his hands. Let's look at Jimmy Young's legs right here when he actually starts leaning back. So he shifts that weight to the back leg, puts the weight on his lower back, and then comes back in with that straight right. He does this a few times in this fight. Another thing I want you to notice about the pull counter with the right hand is the right hand isn't here. So we talked about why Jimmy Young keeps the right hand in front of his face to catch jabs and all that. But the other reason the right hand could stay in front of the face is that you could throw it very quickly from, it's like a jab almost, so it's not very powerful, but you could throw it real quick from in front of the face instead of bringing it back from here. It's harder for your opponent to see because it's just going straight at them like a jab. They don't see it drop and then go. And the other thing is, you could add power to it by really twisting back that left shoulder and twisting forward that right shoulder. I don't know if Jimmy Young does it here, but when the right hand is here, you could throw it quick like a jab just by popping it out, or you could really twist your body into it and get some power on that right hand. But you see how Jimmy Young keeps it here. Now another fighter that did this very, very well was Jesse Burnett, I believe. He threw his right hand from in front of his face, similar style to how Jimmy Young keeps his hands, and he was very effective with that. You can watch the focus in Jimmy Young's eyes. Left hand low, right hand in front of the chin. Nice jabs by Ken Norton. Not really doing much, but nice jabs. Nice right hand by Jimmy Young. Gets away from the uppercut again. Kind of maybe skidded with that right hand. I don't think it landed clean, but he gets away from this uppercut. Well, maybe he catches him a little bit, but he's already on his way out of there, so it kind of doesn't really land with the power that was thrown with, or the intention it was thrown with. Nice double jab right hand from Ken. Ken Norton has the best boxing body of all times. He has the skinniest legs and the biggest upper body. It makes it so much, well, he's a heavyweight, so it doesn't really matter if he makes weight. But to make weight, it's really easy if you have small legs. If you have big legs like myself, even if you lose a lot of weight, you're still carrying that weight in your legs, and it makes it really hard to fight at what your normal weight should be if you're not heavyweight. And you could see Jimmy Young just sticking that left hand in front of Ken Norton's face just to put something in between them so he doesn't get a clear path with his coming in, basically. You just got to put something in between you and your opponent that's trying to come in, and you just keep them off with that. Doesn't have to be a hard jab. You just stick that left hand out. De La Hoya, I think, did that very well also. I haven't studied him in a while, but I've studied him quite a bit when I did. And he did that, I think. He put that left hand out, and it made it harder for his opponent to come in. And you can see how we talked about this when Jimmy Young was getting in the chest of Ken Norton, but he does it here just to move in. So you could see how here, yeah. See how he drops that left hand? And then he puts both hands up. You gotta know when you put both hands up. I've talked about this before. Prince Naseem and Errol Graham, they're from the Brendan Ingle gym. They fought with their hands down, but they never put their hands up. And it works until it doesn't work, okay? If you want to be a fighter that puts their hands down, just for that extra security in tough situations, or when you're fighting a guy like Ken Norton, you got to know when to put both hands up, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's protecting yourself. You'll see him do it right here again. See, both hands down, puts that hands up, and then moves in. Floyd Mayweather, who was mostly known for dropping his lead hand, put both hands up when time got rough or things got real. He knew when to kind of tighten up, and that's a mark of a great boxer, is understanding your own openings and covering them up depending on the range. Now, Ken Norton got away from this right hand. I put this in an Instagram video. He did this rubbernecking or rolling with the punch a few times in this fight that he actually got Jimmy Young pretty good with it. So Jimmy Young goes jab, jab, and then bang, turn away with the pivot, smooth as butter. See, he's just putting that left hand on his head and just keeping him from coming in. Nice lean back from the right hand. Both hands up. Nice body shots by Ken Norton. You got to get what you try, what you can when the guy you're fighting has really good head movement and really good defense. Attack the body. It's a lot harder to block body shots than the head. Very similar to Ali's style, but more defensive. Kind of more better technique than Ali. Jimmy Young, I would say, with his defense. He was just more of a, like a text, not a textbook. I don't know how to say it. Ali was more of a, I don't know. You guys know what I'm saying, but with the holding and the left hand out, he kind of looks like this looks like Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier a little bit. Muhammad Ali's right there. Nice jab. Nice right hand right there. I think Norton probably caught that right hand on his glove though. He turned with that one also. But Jimmy Young fought Ken Norton in a way better way than Ali fought Norton in their first fight. In the second fight, Ali fought Norton a lot better. He looked like his younger self. But in the first fight, both performances by Jimmy Young and Muhammad Ali, I would give Jimmy Young did a lot better than Muhammad Ali. Ken Norton kind of gave Ali a lot of trouble with the up jab and the left hooks in their fight. Jimmy Young seems to have taken that away with his own jabbing and his methods. See, I was just touching him. Nice right uppercut. Push him back to the center of the ring. Make him restart his attack. With an attacker like Ken Norton that's going to keep coming forward, you just got to keep making them reset. Make them reset. Make them reset. And then you start finding openings. But you don't want them to gain momentum and just coming forward without resetting, because then they start gaining momentum. It's like a snowball down a mountain. As the snowball starts to roll, you want to put something and stop that snowball, make it roll again. So you're killing its momentum every time it picks up speed. That way you could keep it under control and it doesn't get too much momentum where now you can't stop it. In this case, Ken Norton. Round number 9. Ken Norton trying to feint with the head, stick out the jab. Jimmy Young staying real smooth, real calm. Right hand in front of the face. That was a nice right hand by Ken Norton right there. Nice right hand. Like I said in part 1, Jimmy Young came up when he was young, sparring Joe Frazier and those guys in Philly. So his ability to stay calm in the ring comes from those hard sparring sessions. And when people say, well, hard sparring isn't needed in boxing, it causes brain damage. Well, you definitely need hard sparring. It's not healthy for you. You don't have to do it for a long time, but I think hard sparring is really important when you're like right about that intermediate level, when you had a couple fights. You need to spar hard in amateurs and pros, but once you've set your ways and learned that you could take a punch, then you could kind of not spar as hard. But hard sparring is definitely needed at some point in a boxer's career to learn how to stay calm, especially against someone, sparring against someone that's way better than you, getting beaten up. That's how you kind of get better at being calm and taking punishment. So here Ken Norton rolls with that right hand. This is what I was talking about. He's going to roll with that left hook. Beautiful moves. I think Ken Norton started boxing in the Army or something like that. He was a champion there, I believe. I think so. Nice right hand right there. We talk about the right hand a little bit. Nice right hand again. Nice jab by Ken Norton. I don't like how hard the ref is pushing both fighters back. Takes a lot of energy out of the legs from both fighters. See right there, this is what I don't like when refs do this sometimes. They push one fighter way back more than the other fighter. See, look. Pushes Norton back, lets him go, and watch what he does to... Like, why would you do that? The guy's been trying to get off the ropes for I don't know how long, for 9 rounds, and then you're pushing him back way more than the other guy. Let's see if he does that again. No, he doesn't push them back that time. Nice right hand by Norton. Nice jabs. See, and this is the other one. I think this is this is the other one that I put in the Instagram video of Ken Norton's rolling with the punches. He's a little bit more hip to what Jimmy Young's doing. Jimmy Young sticks out that left hand between the shoulder and the head, right on the neck area, the trap area. And Ken Norton knows the right hand is coming now. Rolls and gets under that one and then gets away from that left hook. Nice counter right hand by Jimmy Young. See you right there again. Like, why would you do that to a guy that's not the pressure fighter? You shouldn't do it to any fighter. You should push them both back at the same rate, but you shouldn't push one guy back even more when he's the one that's constantly on the ropes, and he's not trying to be on the ropes. Nice left hook by Ken Norton. Well, I guess the ref is kind of mad that Jimmy Young keeps holding, so I guess that's why he's pushing him back a little bit more than Norton. Jimmy Young going for a walk, nice feint. Like I said in one of the fight studies, you got to be able to take a walk sometimes. If you watch Villamar Fernandez versus Helmer Kenti, Villamar Fernandez just goes for a walk at some point in the fight, kind of regathers himself, breathes. So you got to be able to take breaks even when the round's not over. Nice right hand right there. Especially if you just need to clear your head a little bit, just go for a walk. Stay on point though, your opponent might rush you. There's the hold and right hand again, perfect. Nice. Your opponent might rush you, so you still got to be on point to kind of keep up with that. But other than that, you should take a walk every now and then and come back to fight. Jimmy Young's getting a little bit more aggressive in the 10th round. It's the first time I really saw him moving forward, like right there. Mostly it's been him stepping back and pulling Ken Norton in. Nice right hand by Ken Norton. Nice right hand again. So I could see why Jimmy Young lost this fight, but I really can't. The only reason I would see him losing the fight is because he was stepping back most of the time. But I feel like he landed the cleaner punches. He made Norton really look not as good. That was a nice right hand. So I don't know why he lost this fight, but I don't know. I guess he just wasn't a fan favorite, so why give it to him when Ken Norton can produce better fights for the fans? So That's the other thing about boxing. It's not just a sport, it's a business for the promoter. So are you going to promote the guy that wins but doesn't look good, or are you going to promote the other guy that's going to put people in their seats? So that's kind of the bad part about boxing or any sport. The sport kind of takes a second seat behind the business of it. That's why the amateurs are better in that respect, because everybody fights everybody. You can't duck anybody in a tournament or in going to the Olympics or whatever. You got to just fight whoever. Doesn't matter the style, doesn't matter about selling tickets. And that's kind of the better part of it. Nice right hand. With the pros in any sport, it becomes who's going to make the best fight or the biggest payday or bring the biggest amount of people to the fight. That's who we're going to focus on. So I guess Jimmy Young just wasn't a fan favorite with his style. But if you're a boxing fan or if you're a fighter, boxer, he's one of the best guys to study. There goes that right hand left hook from a different angle. See, like Ken Norton didn't do that to Jimmy Young during the fight, so I don't know. Oh, that was another favorite of mine when Jimmy Young, right here, he makes him miss pretty bad. Whoop. Under that hook. Hug yourself. Let me get out of there real quick. Hit him with that right hand. Nice double jab from Ken Norton. See how he comes back right with his own double jab? So this is when someone scores points on you, if you don't score them right away, the judges see that and they think you're too passive or whatever. But when someone gets points on you, you got to get them back with points. And I like what Jim Young did here. It gets caught with a double jab. All right, I'm coming back with a double jab. Even though it didn't land as clean as Ken Norton's, at least I'm going to come back with something. And I'm going to try to get my points back. There's the right hand again, but I don't think it landed clean. There it is. See how he puts that left hand on the shoulders? Kind of frames with that left hand, comes in with that right hand. This is one of the best punches from Ken Norton in this fight. So Jimmy Young did this move very well, but he did it about 3 or 4 times in a row right here since we talked about it. So he tries it again, but Norton is kind of hip to it again, and he sees the right hand coming, kind of blocks it with his left arm, comes up with a beautiful uppercut to the body. Lands like on the belt line. If that was Usyk, he would have been on the floor rolling. Trying to work in that hook. Nice job from Ken Norton. I think Jim Young might have rolled away from that one, but that was still nice. Jim Young must have been a nightmare to fight, because he had a good chin and he had great defense that made it hard for you to land clean, so I don't know. A lot of his losses are questionable, I gotta say that. Like, I never saw him get beat up really bad yet. Nice right hands, but I think Ken Norton is kind of getting away from those right hands with having his right hand across his face and ducking his head behind his lead shoulder. Round number 12. Time up, pushing back, pushing back. So you could see a pattern with Jimmy Young. What he's doing is basically my understanding of this fight. He does the same moves. Like I said, a lot of great boxers, they do the same moves and same sequences over and over again, just a little bit different each time. I thought he got caught with the uppercut right there, Jimmy Young, but he didn't. Stepping back, keeping the jab in front of the face. Time up on the inside, pushing back. This time he turned him. Ken Norton snuck in a left uppercut, and Jimmy Young got him back with the left hook. Sorry guys if you hear the beeping car in the background. So he meets him, pushes him back. Very repetitive game plan from Jimmy Young, but it works. I wish he was just a little bit more aggressive in moving in, but he just didn't have the power to be aggressive, so you can't really blame him for not being aggressive. You got to use your strengths and see how far you get with those. Nice jabs from Jimmy Young. See, that's what Ken Norton did to a lot of the right hands from Jimmy Young, is he keeps his glove way out here. Now when he's here, what Jimmy Young can do is throw the left hook, but look at this setup by Ken Norton. Oh, I guess he still got it in on the chin because it didn't really catch the right hand. Nice jab from Ken Norton. See, he goes for a walk, Jimmy Young, breathes, go for a little walk, and then come back. Nice body work right there. That was the best body shots he put in the whole fight. Pushes him back. I think this is one of his most aggressive rounds, Jimmy Young. He really tries to get a second wind here. Nice work. Nice right hand by Ken Norton. That was really nice. He tracked Jimmy Young down. So he kind of did Jimmy Young's own move against him. He did the same move we've been talking about, the framing with the left hand, hit him with the right. Did it to Jimmy Young back. Just keeps pumping those jabs in front of his face. See right there, man. Why you gotta push him all the way back? He just works so hard to get off the ropes. Not a mark on his face. Neither does Ken Norton. Live from Las Vegas. Ooh, that was a nice little short right hand that caught him off guard from Jimmy Young. Like in these rounds, Jimmy Young has been a lot more active than Ken Norton, with his jab especially. More combinations, but especially with his jab, he's been very active. Nice right upcut, left hook. Getting with the jabs again, left hook. Let's see what Ali did right there. Lean back from the jab. Pull him in again. Nice. Nice left hook by Ken Norton. So I don't know, Jimmy Young looks like the busier fighter in these rounds, and he's landing a lot more than Ken Norton. Nice defense. Nice right hand. Get away from that left hand. Nice uppercut from Ken Norton. That might have won him the round, honestly. That was a nice uppercut. And this is something that Ken Norton does very, very well. Now, this whole side of him, he covers it up pretty well. He leaves this side open, but he closes one side at a time. Now, he doesn't have to think of this side as much, and he could watch for that hook. So this is like the bladed stance type thing. I really like this style when you're fighting someone that's tricky. You close off one side. You're like, okay, I got this side closed off. Now I'm going to focus on here, and then I could focus on my own punching. As we saw, Jimmy Young still got his right hand in, but Ken Norton does a pretty good job of covering up that whole left side of his, keeps his head off center. Then he moves in behind this. It's kind of like a shield. He has this side open, but when he sees the left hook, of course, he could cover up, as I said about Jimmy Young also. But I like moving in like this against a guy that uses both hands pretty well, or a good right hand. I like covering up that left side of myself, so now they're forced kind of throw that left hook, and then it's a lot easier to see the left hook coming. But it's not foolproof or bulletproof because Jim Young has gotten in a lot of right hands. But I like this type of move also, or type of hand positioning to move in. Nice body work by Jimmy Young. Round number 14. Now Jimmy Young's using his legs a little bit more. Let's see if he dances a little bit. Maybe he thinks he won this fight. I'm not sure. A couple people are leaving, it seems like. If you watched, I think it was Jersey Joe Walcott versus the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. He did what Jimmy Young just did about 30 seconds ago, which is feint, 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 step back, feint, 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 step back to kind of pull him in, and then counter him. He's doing like what Jimmy Young's doing right there. You stop, you feint, 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 and then you roll back. You feint, 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 you walk back, and then once the opponent kind of moves in the last time, you hit him with something. That's what Jersey Joe Walcott was trying to do to Joe Louis. I believe that's, yeah, him or Archie Moore. Yeah, no, it's Jersey Joe Walcott, I believe. Nice body shots by Jimmy Young. Nice jabs. Nice uppercut, left hook. Nice right hand. Stepping in and out, changing the range. See, I don't know. Jim Young looks like he's in better condition than Ken Norton at this part of the fight in the 14th round. Now, this is what I talk about Ken Norton and his right glove. Watch how he blocks that right hand. I think he caught that right hand on the glove. I'm not too sure. Nice combination by Jimmy Young. He's just not stepping forward. That's the only type of thing that you could talk about him, bad about him in this fight, is he's not stepping forward. He's only walking back. He stepped forward a couple times, especially in round 10 or 11, but this isn't good right there, the little run he did. But it's not like he's doing bad, but to the judges, it just looks like you're not the one trying to bring the fight. Judges really care about who brings the fight to the other person. And if you're the one walking forward, it looks like you're trying to make the fight happen, and then the judges might give you rounds just based off that. So, yeah. Nice right hand by Ken Norton. Round number 15. I wonder if this fight happened after Ali versus Norton won or whatever. Because I want to know if Ali was watching this fight and studying what to do against Norton and taking away some points from Jimmy Young. I'm going to research this on my own time after to see. Because I feel like if this fight was before Ali versus Norton, Ali might have taken some things from Jimmy Young. Because they had similar style, Ali and Young. Ali a lot faster and more athletic than Young, more vicious than Young, but Young the better defensive guy, so maybe Ali took some defensive moves from Young. I'm just guessing, I'm not saying he did. Nice body work from Ken Norton, and you could see why he's winning the round just based off that body work alone, really targeting the body and telling the judges like, hey, I want to win this fight. When you're fighting your opponent, you're not just fighting your opponent, you're talking to the judges too. You're telling them, hey, I want to win this fight. I'm moving forward. I'm throwing more punches. And they listen to that. If you're the guy that's just walking back and kind of passive, you're talking to them saying, hey, I don't really want to fight. I'm just trying to keep this guy away from me. I'm not trying to really bring the fight to him. And the refs kind of understand that too. So you got to keep the refs, not the refs, the judges in mind when you are fighting. Nice work by Jimmy Young. That little run back though, not a great idea. Nice right uppercut, left hook. .30 seconds to go. Let's see who takes the fight in these last 30 seconds. Oh, that was nice. Left hooks by Ken Norton, then Jim Young came back with his own. The ref trying to pull his glove back or off of Ken Norton. Time. Okay, guys, so this was a really good fight for the boxing fan. maybe not for the casual. I should make a video about Ken Norton versus Ali 1 because Ken Norton really used his left hand really good in that fight also. I was a little disappointed. I don't know. It looked like Ken Norton was the guy that wanted to win a little bit more. He was the one moving forward, so you could give it to him based on that. But I'm not sure. Jim Young lost a lot of close fights because he just wasn't aggressive enough. But I wanted to make this fight to highlight, mostly in part one, how Jim Young reeled back. You could tell from their faces, Ken Norton doesn't really think he won right here. Yeah, I don't know. How Jimmy Young reeled in Norton and tied him up, pushed him back to the middle of the ring. How he kept that left hand in between them. His defense, how he changed from a low guard to a high guard when the time was right. And yeah, I'm going to stop this right here because I want to listen to what the great Cosell tells Jimmy Young or asks him. But I'll be back with, I'm going to talk about sparring in our next lesson that's dropping this Wednesday. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day, and bye.